Good morning. Just stopping here in my walk in the woods and listening to the serenade. Yep. Sure these guys are talking to one another. I wonder what they're saying. Well, spring is busting out all over. I think it's fair to say. Everything is taking a sort of a green tinge, and this bush behind me here is the leaves are just starting to come out. We're getting to really have a sense of stuff is happening. So what's happening in your life? How are you adjusting to this crisis that we're in? How are you able to, handle fear? I guess I think we all have this fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of what's going to happen. My wife was telling me about a good little program that she heard that was going on in Middleton, Wisconsin. Sort of getting to know your neighbor, and what an opportunity with a lot of people being sitting at home for a large part of time. Who is your neighbor? I think that's a biblical, a spiritual question. Who is my neighbor? Meaning, of course, class. who is it that I consider to be my neighbor that is like me, that I can like and love? But I think today there's a little bit more to that. I think theologically, if someone was to ask me, well, David, who is my neighbor? And I would have to say the next person you meet. There is no neighbors are neighbors. They are fellow human beings, all deserving of respect and love. But who is your geographical neighbor? Who lives next door to you? I think around here, living rurally, that it's a little bit more important because we really do depend on one another. My neighbor Sam has got a couple tools that I don't have, and I've got some space in my barn that he needs to store some stuff with, and we sort of work things out. My neighbor Bob down the road has plowed us out for two decades, and he stores some stuff in the barn, and so we work things out. And when a big windstorm went through his property, we all got our chainsaws and went down there and cut some of those trees down so his cows could get out to pasture. But maybe this would be a really good time to get to know your neighbor. To say, hey, here I am. Let's talk on the phone. Who are you? How come I don't know you and you live 2 doors from me, or maybe even you live next door to me? The power of neighbor is tremendous. And I saw that when I was with the police department. Our concept of neighborhood policing, we knew that if our job was to help communities, better, be safer, and better places to live, it meant that we all needed to be connected. And we need to be connected by knowing who our neighbor is and looking out for our neighbor. And when our neighbor is in trouble, that we would help out as best we can. And at least we would call somebody to help if we ourselves couldn't do that. So neighbor is a very important concept amongst us. We are neighborly people. Some people might argue, well, strangers, they're stranger danger. Stay away from them. And yes, that to a certain extent that is true. We should be wary, but we also should attempt to make that bridge and get to know our neighbor. And if we get to know our neighbor, miraculously, they may not be as strange or as dangerous as we think before we got to know them. So I think that's a part of our human life together. So let's all be good neighbors. And how about calling your neighbor today? How about saying, "Hey, neighbor, Hey, I'm the guy that lives next door to you, and we're all so busy going to work every day and running our kids back and forth to soccer and to dance lessons and stuff. I never have a chance to talk to you, and I'm so busy at work. I got so much to do. I don't have time for you, but now I do. Let's get to know one another. Let's be neighbors. God bless you today. Let us go forth in peace and in love.